Welcome to the Real Estate Guys radio program. Before you're a real estate investor, you're an investor. And before you're an investor, you're a person. You're an achiever. You're someone who wants more. Today, we're going to talk about how you become the best you can possibly be. And we have an amazing guest today on the Real Estate Guys radio program.
If you love real estate and have always wanted to own your own business, listen up. The Real Estate Guys and their panel of experts want to teach you how to go full-time fast in the real estate syndication business. These next few years may go down in history as one of the best times ever to acquire investment real estate. There are deals everywhere if you know where to look and how to assemble the resources. The Secrets of Successful Syndication seminar will show you how to make big money doing big deals from a team of experts that have syndicated projects totaling more than $1 billion. Don't wait for someone to give you a raise or create a job for you. Attend the Secrets of Successful Syndication and learn how to build a team, raise capital, find deals, and make full-time money in 6 months or less. Go to realestateguysradio.com and click on events. All the big players use syndication as a way to diversify risk, optimize profits, and earn big money. You can too. Go to realestateguysradio.com and click on events.
Welcome to the Real Estate Guys radio show. I'm your host, Robert Helms. With me, co-host financial strategist Russell Gregg.
Hey, Robert.
You know, we love to talk real estate. It's one of our favorite things. And today's show is a little different because it's something even more important. We're going to talk about your personal development, who you are as a person. If you want to invest in real estate, that's awesome. But most people who are interested in investing aren't your average and ordinary folks. People who want more in their lives, people want to achieve more, they want to have more, they want to own more, they want to have investments that pay them, they want to create cash flow and equity growth. Those folks are achievers and they think differently.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to an issue of personal responsibility. There's a group of people out there who feel like because they're human beings, because they exist, they're entitled to certain things, certain benefits, certain minimum standard of living. There's other people who, because they're human beings, feel like they have an obligation to contribute, to go do something, to take personal responsibility for their future, their well-being. And if they're good enough, they create abundance so they can help out other people. Now, I'm not going to sit here and judge one or the other, but I can tell you most of the people we hang with and most of the people who listen to this show are probably in the latter camp. Those are the people who are trying to go out and do more and be more. And we say all the time in just kind of understanding human behavior, what I've learned, and I was taught this by somebody, and I don't remember exactly where I learned it, but I love it. And that is, your results are a direct product of what you do. And what you do, your actions are a direct result of how you think. In other words, how you think and what you believe affects how you behave, and how you behave affects the results you produce. And so if you want to have better results in your life, you have to take better actions. But if you want to take better actions, you have to have better thoughts, better beliefs. And ultimately, being an achiever in anything, real estate investing or anything else, comes down to getting into that gray matter between your ears, putting good ideas in your head, and then nurturing them until they manifest in good actions that result in good results. The better the ideas you put in your head, the better the results you're going to get out the back end.
It's so true. The most successful real estate investors we know are successful people first and foremost. They have the right attitude. They're open to new ideas. They're students. They learn. Many of them teach, but they learn, right? A few weeks back on the Investors Summit, we had Robert Kiyosaki with us for the third year. You and I sat in the back of the room with him between us, taking notes in every single class session. He doesn't show up, give a speech, and then walk off stage. He was there more as a student than as a teacher.
Well, you know what? How I knew that wasn't for show was, first of all, because we wear him out every night, right, at dinner and the parties and hanging out with everybody. And he's great. He comes to everything. But he writes his name on his workbook, and then he puts his cell phone number right there on his workbook. And then at the very end, when he was getting ready to leave the event, he came back in the room panicked because he didn't have his binder, and he wanted all of those notes that he had taken during the week so that he could take them home with him. And I thought, wow, this guy is the real deal. He really wants to learn.
You know, successful people get around other successful people, and success leaves clues. There are things you can pick up that will help you become successful as a real estate investor, as a person. If I hadn't found personal development many years ago, I'd be a completely different person today. People say, how do you have these amazing relationships? How is it that your show's been popular for 20 years? I think it's because we keep upping our peer group. We keep hanging around with people that have us thinking differently. Whatever problems you have, whatever situation you're in, your current level of thinking got you there. And Einstein said you can't solve a problem at the same level of thinking that created it. So if you want more, if you want to have more, be more, do more, you've got to start to think differently.
It does. It starts in your mind. And just like you learned how to speak orally or verbally out loud, you learn to do that by hanging around with people that spoke the language. There's a self-talk. There's a way we all see ourselves, a way we talk to ourselves. We either are affirming ourselves. I mean, little things you can pick up, right? We just spent some time with a gentleman, and he's a high achiever. Guy, 40 years old, owns multiple businesses, has made a lot of money. And you would listen to him, and he'd forget something. He'd say, oh, you know what? I want to tell you about this guy. It'll come to me. Right? Other people say, I can't remember. It's a little thing, right? But when you're trained, you realize he is telling his subconscious mind, you're going to remember this, as opposed to conceding defeat. I can't remember. I'm defeated. It's gone. It's little things like that. And there's so much. Blair Singer wrote a book called The Little Voice, and it's about that inner self-talk, right? And there's lots of people that talk about it, but it's one thing you'll find in common. When you start hanging around truly successful people, when they are talking about themselves, when they are thinking out loud about going through a process of trying to figure out how they're going to handle a problem, there's words that you just don't hear. They catch themselves, right? They don't say, I'm trying to do this. They say, I am doing this. I'm in the process of going here or accomplishing this or that. It'll come to me. Things like that. A lot of positive affirmations. It may sound small, but your brain is an incredible computer. Now, maybe some of you people listening to this are like, oh, yeah, I've known this for 1,000 years. Good. It's probably like getting you excited because people who already know this get reinforced when they hear it. If you're hearing it going, I don't really think that's true, then you probably need to hear it more than anybody.
You know, Jim Rohn would say, never tell yourself, I can't afford it. Ask yourself, how can I afford it?
It's such an empowering question.
Absolutely. And so we're going to talk today with a gentleman who we've known for many, many years. In fact, he and I go back more than 20 years, and I met him through an amazing story of personal development. But the short version is that Kyle Wilson was president of Jim Rohn's company. He and Jim had an 18-year partnership. He knows everybody there is in the speaking business, authors, all kinds of great folks like that. After asking him for years and years and years, he finally came on the Investor Summit a few weeks ago. And so when we come back, you're going to meet the amazing Kyle Wilson today on the Real Estate Guys radio program.
Live nationwide, you're listening to the Real Estate Guys. Find out more at realestateguysradio.com.
Hi, this is Garrett Sutton, Robert Kiyosaki's asset protection attorney and the author of Loopholes of Real Estate and Start Your Own Corporation. As an American or foreign-based investor in U.S. real estate, you know we are a litigious society. You know that you need to protect your real estate, paper, and bullion holdings with the right mix of LLCs and corporations. Our firm, Corporate Direct, not only forms these entities, but importantly, we properly maintain them too. If you fail to follow the corporate formalities, you can lose it all in an instant. Corporate Direct is your source for LLC protection and maintenance in all 50 states. Visit corporatedirect.com or call 800-600-1760. Mention the Real Estate Guys for a free bonus. That's 800-600-1760 or corporatedirect.com. We look forward to assisting you at corporatedirect.com.
Hi, this is Kendra Todd, winner of The Apprentice, and you're listening to The Real Estate Guys.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Guys radio program, the number one downloaded podcast on real estate investing. We're talking today about how you can be the best you can be. I'll tell you what that secret for me has been, getting around the right folks, and you're about to meet one of them. Please welcome my friend of more than 20 years, an amazing man, Mr. Kyle Wilson. Hey, how are you?
Robert, doing great. Great to be here.
Great to finally get you on the program. Lots of folks have already experienced the effect of our friendship when they've heard the interviews we've done over the years with people like Darren Hardy and Jim Rohn and Dennis Waitley and Phil Collin of Def Leppard, and the list goes on and on. There's so many folks that you've been an intricate part of kind of the promotion of. And so, 18 years with Jim Rohn, just huge. Obviously, we're giant fans of Mr. Rohn's work, and working with the greatest experts, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, really in this area of personal development. So I think one of the things to start with, Kyle, is you had the opportunity to see thousands and thousands and thousands of people get engaged with coming to a live event, reading a book, getting on a webinar. Why is it that some people take that information and become crazy successful and other people just don't ever do anything with information?
Hey, that's a great question. I'm sure there's multiple reasons. One reason, it's like Jim Rohn said, you get an idea, but you also have to have opportunity. It's when you get engaged in something, right? Let's say you're listening to all this material, but until you get that rental property, right? Until you get that investment, until you have the opportunity to actually use it, sometimes it doesn't kick in as quick. And I think that's the biggest thing, is have an application. Knowledge without application, it just grows dormant.
Such a good point. You know, I always reflect back on spending time with Mr. Rohn and the many events that you did. And in reality, and those of you that don't know Jim Rohn, just one of the all-time amazing, we call him America's foremost business philosopher. You could hear the man talk for hours and hours and never grow bored. Just an amazing, amazing body of work, thanks to a great degree to you, Kyle, that's all been preserved. But it's not like he came out with a new podcast every week or a new talk or his latest greatest hits. I mean, he had just some core messages he delivered to millions and millions of people over time. Isn't it that success boils down to just a few key things?
Yeah, that's what Jim talked about. It's the basics. It's common sense. And, it's finding the right application to it. But yeah, Jim had the amazing ability to say it in such a way it penetrated. He made people laugh. He engaged people. There's a book called Contagious, and it talks about for an idea to stick, there has to be dopamine in the brain going on at the same time. And Jim did that. He had a way to mesmerize an audience, engage the audience, add some humor, say it in a certain way. And, it just rolled off his tongue. It just was brilliance in how he said things. In fact, that's why we did the quote book, right? He was so profound. We put together literally hundreds of Jim Rohn quotes, and it would impact people. And that product actually became a viral tool because people get it and they'd say, wow, this is amazing. And they'd go buy hundreds to give away. And it was just the profound way he put things, like a Will Rogers would.
I was one of those guys. I used that wonderful tool, just a small, carry around in your pocket book of quotes, nicely done, a nice leatherette copy. And in the front of it, you could write to and from. So you could give it to someone as a gift. And it was a gift. When you read I love quotes anyway, but when someone can say it succinctly, when Jim Rohn says, the book you don't read can't help, that's pretty succinct, right? What are some of your favorite Jim Rohn quotes?
Oh, wow. Learn to be happy with what you have while you pursue all that you want.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? He had so many amazing quotes, right?
If you want to find, you must search, because rarely does a good idea interrupt you.
Yeah, I love that. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, all good stuff. So, he would call it the seeds that you would plant, right? Like your mind is this amazing fertile soil, and so many people today choose to put junk food in their brain. They're watching throwaway television. You're hanging out with people that aren't going anywhere. Today, more than ever, we're bombarded by messages. How do you discern in that world what really can propel you to be an achiever?
If we take a step back, again, I think so much of that, Robert, gets down to application. If you have an opportunity, that tends to get you up early. It tends to keep you up late. That gets you inspired. And all of a sudden you're thinking, I don't have time to watch this stupid TV show or whatever it is. I'm going to watch a YouTube video. Opportunity creates so much positive opportunities for us. And I think that's often what it is. If someone is not, for example, a college student who's not inspired.
Right.
Maybe they have the wrong major. Whatever it is that's keeping them from really wanting to just be engaged. And I think once we're engaged with an opportunity, then we'll go buy the books and we'll read the books. Sometimes we're judging our spouse or our kids or our employees. And what they're really missing is something that's engaged them, that gets them excited. Because if you're excited, you'll buy the book, you'll read the book, you'll cut the TV off, you'll turn on the YouTube video, the TEDx talk.
Good point. And especially, you find that opportunity, then you need to know where to go, right? So one of the, I think, key distinctions, and I learned that it's a great tool at one of your events, where you ask all the achievers what they're reading. Like, what's a great book? Ask your successful friends what they're reading. Don't ask your unsuccessful relatives what they're reading, right?
Right.
If the answer is People Magazine, that's probably not going to do it.
Exactly. No, it's so true.
So let's talk about getting around the right people, because this was also something that was amazing at your events. We had the great opportunity to be at a lot of the events that you put on with lots of different speakers, and you're probably the promoter in the personal development world that knows this area the most. But at live events, there's content, what's coming from the stage, and maybe people are in the room because they have that opportunity you spoke of. All of a sudden, they've been turned on to real estate, they've been turned on to a business opportunity, whatever it is. And now they're in the room. It's more than just the information, though. What's the power of the live event?
Yeah. I call it immersion. It's when you immerse yourself. So, if you're watching a video, reading a book, you've got 15 minutes, 30 minutes, you're interrupted. But when you make a decision, hey, I'm going to go spend a day or 2 days, or in the case of like the cruise, 9 days, right? That's called a commitment. And now you're immersed. And I have a really good speaker friend who sells products at big events. And he's like, I never want to speak on the first day because people are still kind of getting, they're still checking their phone. They're still caught up. But by the second day, they've hung out with everyone. They're in now that flow, and they just become so much more open, and the knowledge just takes hold so much better. So there's something powerful about, and here's the other thing. It depends on the quality of the people in the room.
Right.
The higher the quality, the more powerful it is. You and I were part of a little mastermind that Phil Collin came and spoke at my house. And after it was over, his wife was thanking us for having him. And I mean, they played in front of 20,000 people the next night, but it was because of the quality of the people in the room. I mean, we had some amazing people, and they were saying, wow, this impacted us so much. Thank you so much for having us. So that's, again, that's why I say seek out really good events that have good people, not just good information, but good people. We've been fortunate to have people that tend to be Jim Rohn fans. And if you're a Jim Rohn fan, that already says something about your philosophy. It says something about who you are, right? It's typically someone, okay, I do business with that guy, right? There just tends to be. It's a good little vetting system for me.
Wow, that's a really good point. You think about the events that you go to of any kind, right? You go to a concert, you go to a ball game, whatever it is, the people that are there are attracted to that same thing. So we often say to get out to live events because the people you'll meet at the event. But you also have to be discerning there too, because not every real estate event, for example, is the same. Not every cruise is the same. We just spent 9 days on the Summit at Sea, and that was an incredible amount of people.
Amazing event, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for finally coming on that. I've been bugging Kyle for lots of years to come on. I've known Kyle longer than we've been doing the Summit at Sea, but we finally got him on the ship. And you're right in the middle of a big, heavy project, I know, but it was great to have you there, and obviously, get to hang out with Robert Kiyosaki and Ed Griffin and Peter Schiff and Ken McElroy and all those folks was pretty amazing. But it's exactly what we're talking about. It's not just, say, the speakers, the people that are on stage. It's the group that's attracted by that message.
Absolutely. And speaking of the summit, I'm just hanging out like everyone else. But I just happened to be by Robert Kiyosaki, and we were talking, hitting it off. We were in Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
When you guys took us that day to an amazing place. I said, hey, Robert, can I interview you? So I interviewed him for 2 minutes. That has been one of the biggest things I've ever done on social media, right? And I was just one of the people like anyone else. So again, the value of getting, coming on the cruise, the value of going to where all these amazing people are. And when you think about faculty at your events, you think about faculty at my events, they're accessible. They're not hiding in the back. I mean, they're hanging out with everyone else.
I think that's a huge distinction, right? Because there are events that we both go to that aren't like that, right? You don't always get to hang out with the speaker. And it's not necessarily about that, but I do think that, we certainly try to create events where everyone is approachable. Moreover than that, we create an environment where people naturally get together. Your example was a great one about, day 2. I know at our syndication event, for example, it used to just be 1 day. And the coolest part of that event would be at the cocktail party afterwards, because finally people were immersed, let their guard down, started to form relationships and network. Well, now it's a 2-day event. It probably could be 3 at this point, but that second day feels so much. You've been to the event. The second day feels different than the first.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, just hanging out with people, you have the common purpose, right? They're all in real estate. In my case, it's all success-minded people. People want to improve what they do. And everyone's got their own story. That's what's interesting, right? Doing all these big events over the years, and you find out who's in the audience, and you find out, okay, these are doctors and teachers and coaches and fitness trainers and all kinds of different walks of life. But guess what? They're all kind of wanting to do what Jim Rohn does. They want to write a book. They want to speak. They want to share their story. They want to mentor people, right? And so they're there to learn, to pick brains. And if you ever talk to them, you find out how much value they can give you. They typically have different hacks that they've done that's helped propel their success and their story. So yeah, it's unbelievable, the connections and relationships. People say all the time, I have all these connections. A lot of it's come from the events, just people, when you hang out with people for 2 or 3 days, right? And the stories and the connections that happen, those are memories.
Well, I have a great example of that from one of your events. We only have a single book. We're not prolific authors. We only felt like if we really had something unique to say, we'd say it. Working on another book now. But the idea was, hey, we don't know anything about book writing. At one of your events, I happened to be sitting next to Dennis Waitley. And I said, Dr. Waitley, you've written books. I mean, we're working on a book. And I just had a couple of quick questions. And it was the most amazing 10-minute conversation, because here's a guy who had been through it. We talked self-publishing versus publisher. We talked about content. We talked about how to write an outline. I mean, just gold that because of being in the room, I was able to glean.
Right. No, powerful. And we had another experience with Dennis Waitley. That would be Paul McCartney singing Hey Jude together. Me and Dennis Waitley.
That's a surreal experience in my memory.
Yeah, that was fun.
Being at the concert, listening to Sir Paul and hearing that baritone Hey Jude come out of Dr. Dennis Waitley.
I got to tell this story. So I was at Robert's syndication event, and he's telling the story about singing Hey Jude with Dennis Waitley. And he said, Kyle had invited us. And I had forgot about that, Robert. It's like, I was really enjoying the story of this. Like, yes, that's right. I got activated. I remembered that. It was our Christmas party that year. And, I invited Dennis to come, and Paul McCartney was in town.
Yeah. Very, very, very cool stuff. Well, hey, 1,000 things we could talk about. Let's talk a little bit about this venture of yours, the Lessons From Network, because this is a way to get great ideas together that isn't necessarily what everyone else has tried. And I guess a quick backstory on this is when you sold the company, after 18 years, Jim Rohn International sold the company, and you had a non-compete. You couldn't just go start another seminar company. You couldn't go out and do things with Mr. Rohn. It became a whole different deal. And all of a sudden, this came up. Tell us about what Lessons From is and what that's all about.
Yeah, sure. So Jim Rohn International, YourSuccessStore.com, several other entities. When I sold those to the guys who bought Success Magazine, I simultaneously, actually before I sold, I bought the domain lessonsfromsports.com. I'd interviewed the local high school coach in South Lake, Texas, who had won 3 national championships, and he was just an amazing guy, Todd Dodge. And I went later on looking at lessonsfromsports.com and thinking, I wonder if lessonsfromtennis.com is available. Next thing you know, is lessonsfromselling.com available. Lessons from marketing, real estate, social media. 1,000 domains later, right? We kind of cornered the market. I said, look, let me go out and find some of the best talent in the world at these different topics. Jeffrey Gittimer on selling. We have Phil Collin on Lessons from a Rock Star. Your Lessons from Real Estate Developers. Brian Tracy's Lessons from Achievement. Some amazing people are part of it. And so, yeah, we created this platform to share wisdom and knowledge from these speakers. And also, we have lessons from fitness, lessons from doctors, you name it. And it's a platform. It's a membership site. It's also the different lessons from domains. And we've created a community. We do mastermind events around it. We have calls. Brian was just on one of our recent calls. Mark Victor Hansen, some amazing people.
Well, it reminds me of this very idea of having an opportunity is what gets you excited enough to get out of bed and go pursue these higher ideals and be an achiever. And everyone has a different hot button, right? That's the interesting thing is when you talk about achievement generically, it's hard to get that excited about it. But when all of a sudden, if I'm into fitness and you're saying lessons from fitness and rockstar fitness, and all of a sudden these people are getting together talking about nutrition and health and workout and all that stuff, all of a sudden I'm inspired. Or whatever it is. In our world, real estate and investing and syndication, all of a sudden I'm inspired. So inspiration maybe comes after opportunity.
True. And part of the last Lessons From platform is really just for the speakers also to have their own network. What it allows is my lessons from leadership, my lessons from real estate. It allows them to rub shoulders with each other and to share ideas. And a lot of it evolves around marketing because that's my background. So, I built the 1 million+ list. I filled up rooms, built the online community, created tons of products, over 300 intellectual products. So It's a lot of it's idea sharing from myself, but also from each other. And then they kind of go build their own brand, their own community within that Lessons From group. So it's as much for the contributors as anybody, and then they have a better way to get their message out.
Our guest today is Kyle Wilson. We're talking about how to become the best you can be, finding achievement and ideas and all that. When we come back, we'll have more from Kyle, and we'll play real estate trivia next. You're tuned to the Real Estate Guys radio program. I'm your host, Robert Helms.
Real estate investment advice right in your mailbox. Sign up for the free Real Estate Guys newsletter at realestateguysradio.com.
Memphis, Tennessee is a market that delivers in more ways than one. As home to FedEx, Memphis is one of the largest distribution hubs in the world. That means working class jobs. No wonder Memphis is one of the best cash flow real estate markets in America. And the guy in Memphis who can deliver great, affordable cash flow turnkey properties is Terry Kerr at Mid-South Home Buyers. Contact Terry through the resource section at realestateguysradio.com. And be sure to order Terry's tips for turnkey rental property investing. It's free. Just send your request to turnkey at realestateguysradio.com. That's turnkey at realestateguysradio.com.
Stop for a moment. Why are you listening to this show? Are you dreaming of a bigger, brighter financial future? More personal freedom to live life on your own terms? What if there was just one skill that could make it happen? There is. Sales. Robert Kiyosaki says every entrepreneur must be good at sales. It's true for investors too. Sales is how you attract money, people, and opportunities. Sales is the skill used to negotiate deals and lead your team. Sales skills are essential to success. The good news is, it's a learnable skill. The great news is, we've created a 2-day interactive workshop to teach those skills to you. Make plans today to attend How to Win Funds and Influence People, Mastering the Art of Financial Selling. For dates and details, send an email to sales@realestateguysradio.com or visit realestateguysradio.com and look under events. Gain the skills you need to succeed. Email sales@realestateguysradio.com or look under the events tab at realestateguysradio.com.
Hi, this is Donald Trump, and you're listening to The Real Estate Guys.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Guys radio program. I'm your host, Robert Helms. Thanks for tuning into the show. We're talking today about you and how you can be the best you there can be. Before we get back to our interview with the amazing Kyle Wilson, it's time to play real estate trivia. Your chance to win a prize by knowing today's real estate trivia question. We've got a great prize for you too. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to listen to the question. When you think you know the answer, send us your best guess to trivia@realestateguysradio.com. Trivia@realestateguysradio.com. Include your name and your mailing address so that we can send you the prize, which is the classic book from Jim Rohn called Seasons of Life. That can be yours if you know today's real estate trivia question. Last week on the show, we had Carl Dean talking about picking the right market, and we asked this: name the most tornado-prone city in the U.S. The answer, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now, it turns out Texas has more tornadoes than any other state in the U.S., but Oklahoma has the most dangerous storms. Here's our real estate trivia question for this week. Where was personal development icon Zig Ziglar born? Yep, in what part of the world was Zig Ziglar born? If you know or you want to take a guess, send your best guess to trivia@realestateguysradio.com. Trivia@realestateguysradio.com. Include your name and your physical mailing address. If you're the first one with the right guess, you're going to win a copy of the great book, Seasons of Life, from the amazing Jim Rohn. That's today's real estate trivia question. We're talking with marketer extraordinaire Kyle Wilson, my good friend of more than 20 years, and finally got you on the radio show. That's pretty cool. I got you in the summit, got you on the radio show, came out to our goals event in January, and we had an amazing two-way opportunity, if you will. Brian Buffini is in San Diego, so those of you at the show we did back in January with Brian Buffini, I knew that Kyle had a relationship with Brian. I said, hey, Brian's coming in. Why don't you sit in on that? And you guys got to reconnect. And then after the goals event was over, you said, hey, I'm going to meet Brian Tracy at his office. Would you like to come along? And I went, well, duh, right? Brian Tracy, one of my all-time favorites, a huge mentor of mine in sales and personal achievement. And the most amazing thing happened at that event. It was you and Brian just reconnecting. I was a fly on the wall, but we had something in common, and that was 20 years ago, you had our company to do the sound for these wonderful 2-day events that you did with Brian Tracy throughout the country. Talk about how that came about, that Success Mastery Academy.
Yeah, so we're sitting there talking to Brian, talking about some different ideas. He'd just gotten back from a 3-week trip in Hawaii. And so there's a little bit of just personal conversation, a little bit of, hey, there's some things we can do together. And out of nowhere, it just hit me. Let's do the 20-year anniversary of the Success Mastery Academy. And he said, let's do it. And I looked at you and you're like, I got chills. I said, I did too.
Awesome.
And the Success Mastery Academy was a concept I had 20 years ago. And Brian had all these half-day seminars. And I said, I want to do a 2-day event that just rocks anything else you're doing. And it has to be different. And so we came up with 16 modules. I mean, everything from selling, personal development, goal setting, communication, leadership, influence, the whole thing.
The 21 traits of self-made millionaires.
Yes. Each one was a topic, time management, and every one of these topics. Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy are my 2 all-time favorite speakers. And of course, I've done many events promoting both. And of course, I was the founder of Jim Rohn International. So I worked a lot closer with Jim, but there's always been a thread of working with Brian all these years. And so I got really excited and I started reaching out to some friends. So Darren Hardy, the just recently resigned as the publisher of Success Magazine, but publisher of Success for 5 years.
Author of The Compound Effect. Amazing, amazing guy.
One of my best friends. I said, hey, Darren, I'm pretty sure I introduced you to Brian and you came to all these Brian Tracy Success Mastery Academies. Would you be open to speaking at this event we're going to do? He said, I'm there. Let's work out the dates. I'm there. And just started getting this whole slew of speakers. Vic Johnson, Tom Ziegler, and you. I'm so excited. Robert Helms is going to be one of the speakers as well. So it just kind of came together quick, Robert. It was just a quick idea. I had no intention of even going down that road. It just came to me, and it's been lightning in a bottle. I mean, people are so excited. So I said, here's the deal. 20-year anniversary. Should I record it? And the answer's no. We're going to pull the Led Zeppelin get together after 20 years. And people say, wow, you guys can go do this all over the country again. I'm like, no, this is going to be a one-time. You're either there or you're not there. And it's taken off.
It's awesome. I mean, just to relive that time, right? We went to lots of different cities with Brian for 2 days and just incredible stuff. I mean, the distillation of his years of researching success, that went on to become one of the greatest audio programs ever in personal development, Success Mastery Academy. If you ever come to my goals event, you're going to hear me talk about that because that had a profound impact on my entire career. And to relive that event is going to be amazing. So here's the deal, folks. It's happening in Dallas, Texas, and you're invited. We're going to, before we're done, let you know how you can get tickets to this event. But it's not just 2 days because you've invited all kinds of fans and friends of Brian Tracy, so it's actually expanded to 3 days.
Yeah, we've turned it into a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We actually have some receptions. We have all kinds of stuff going on. And in addition, have just some cool little vignettes that our good friend Seth Mosley, he's part of your herd.
Yep.
He's the #1 producer in Nashville, #3 songwriter, according to Billboard, written 500 songs, Grammy winner, and he's 28.
Yeah.
I kept saying he's 27. He's like, oh, I'm 28. Just recently turned 28. He's going to be speaking, an amazing guy. We're going to have Nick Bradley, one of the top golf coaches in the world who coached with the Ryder team in Europe. He's coming. Tim Cole, 31-year lieutenant in the Marines, one of the greatest leadership guys I know. He's coming. Tom Ziegler, Zig's son, who has an incredible message. He's coming. We've got Jeanette Ortega, who's going to be there. And Jeanette recently went to Belize, actually twice, doing philanthropic work there, right? And she's mentored by Oprah's partner, Eric Logan, who's part of a book project Jeanette and I are doing. He's the president of Harpo and the president of Own Network. And he's just part of this book Jeanette and I are doing together. So I'm excited about Jeanette being there and just some amazing people and just going to turn it into 3 amazing days.
Kyle, this obviously is going to be an incredible event for the people that are there, for the content, for hanging out with Brian Tracy for sure. But I think there's another element to that. Imagine, I remember when you did the tribute to Mr. Rohn, and this was when he was still alive, and he had taken a sabbatical from speaking, and he wasn't feeling all that well, but you took it upon yourself to this amazing project where you had just the who's who of authors and speakers and everyone get together over several days in a couple of cities and film a couple of minutes talking about Jim. And then you had us look at the camera and give a message to Jim. And I remember watching that after Jim had passed and reading just the thousands of comments, and so many people said, I loved Jim Rohn's message. I never got to hear him live. I mean, it blew me away how many people never saw Jim, but were affected by him. I know there's folks out there that have read the 20-plus Brian Tracy books, heard his audio programs, and probably never seen the man live. To me, the magic of this event is it's a one-off, one-of-a-kind opportunity to create some amazing memories.
No, I love that, Robert, and that's so true. Number one thing people tell me now is I wished I'd seen Jim Rohn. It's one of the biggest regrets I have is I didn't see Jim Rohn. And listen, I think this is a one-time only type of event. You know, we've lost some great ones. We've lost Zig and Jim and Stephen Covey and Og Mandino, and Brian's carrying the torch. That's why I'm excited to have Brian, but also have the Darren Hardys there as well. But yeah, don't miss the opportunity. And, I just wrote a little blog the other day about vacations, because there's things fondly etched in my memory with vacations, but equally there are things etched in my memory with events. I'll never forget this cruise I just went on with you, right? And the Jim Rohn 2004 event, the Jim Rohn 2001, where I had Zig and Jim, these 3-day events, right? They'll never go away. And the chance to create a memory with your spouse, with your teenager. Dave Zook, our good friend, right? He's got his son coming. He said, I'm so excited. It's going to be the first seminar I brought my son to, right?
Wow. Can you imagine?
Yeah. And he's got a bunch of Zooks showing up. I keep seeing the orders come in for different Zooks. But listen, it's not just the information. It's the information is going to be amazing. It's not just the people you're going to meet, but it's the memories. These things will have hooks. You'll be able to be talking about this 20 years from now. You were there. There will be connections, relationships. And again, it's back to this concept of immersion. And when I think of top producers over the years, the people I've met that are in that top 1, 2, 5%, what they do is they immerse themselves in good information. And it's not just books. It's not just audios. It's people. They show up where the people are. And that's why I kept seeing all these good people over the years. Darren Hardy was at my 04 event. He was at my 01 event. He was at the Success Mastery Academy events. I forgot to mention my good friend Ron White, the U.S. memory champion, 2-time memory champion.
I think it's funny that you forgot to mention Ron White,
Exactly.
the memory champion.
Exactly.
Ron, oh my goodness, talk about a showstopper. You're going to love Ron White. I imagine he's not going to have a lot of time because there's just so much you're packing into this thing. But this guy is absolutely phenomenal, and he will teach you how to have a better memory.
Absolutely. And Ron says his whole life was changed through Brian Tracy. Brian was the number one guy he studied all these years. And so it's shockingly how affordable we're making this. We want people to be there. It's going to be just a powerful event. And we'll even let you bring a couple of guests at a discount because I want you to bring your spouse. I want you to bring your teenager. I want you to bring your team. Bring your top leaders. Don't go it alone.
Well, I wouldn't miss it for the world. If you want to come check out what all the hoopla is about, all you have to do is go to our website at realestateguysradio.com and click under events, or even easier, just go to briantracyrealestateguys.com, briantracyrealestateguys.com. You'll learn all about the event. You'll see the special bonuses and things that you can get there. Hey, this whole idea of being a better you, obviously coming to an event like this is going to help in that, but you've gone through so many metamorphoses, if that's a word, in business, right? As you've adapted. You were the first guy I knew who did an email newsletter, right? The old e-zine. And you didn't just do it. It became sticky. People forwarded it. There was great stuff in it. Back when it was just text. Now you would say, well, here's some old marketing guy that knows how it used to be. No, you are so tied into the millennials, to social media. What advice do you have for people that are looking to get their message out today? Because at the end of the day, Kyle, you're a marketer, and today it's a crowded world. What can people do to connect and get that message out to folks?
Yeah, multiple things. One thing, be authentic, right? Just always be yourself. That's what people want. They want the real you. And that is really one of the beauties of social media. You get to show up as yourself. They get to see you, doing whatever you do.
Right.
And then you also get to tell the message. So I do think reality TV and all those things has changed how people think. And that is one of the big things with social media is you get to kind of show yourself in this reality TV, but then still get to get your message. So there's that entertainment mixed with, the points. And
I love authenticity. That's such an important point. So many people try to be somebody else. At the end of the day, who you are is not only enough, it's all you'll ever need. And it doesn't mean you're not going to sharpen the saw. You're not going to become that best version of you that you can be. But the advice to be yourself, right? Young people, they want to be like everybody else when really what they should be doing is figure out how to be themselves.
Right. And I think today especially, everything is direct. You know, there's no middleman. And so you got to be your own marketer. No one's going to do it for you. You have to be the one that's connecting with the people, touching, you know, one-on-one with people, getting your message out that connects. And the best way to do it is study what works for you. Who impacts you? You know, what do you watch? What emails do you read? Which ones do you delete? What things engage you? And learn from that. Again, if something doesn't engage you, leave it alone, because that's probably not going to fit who you are. But yeah, don't delegate the marketing. Figure out what actually is authentically your message, connect the dots, and there's so much to learn if you observe. If you observe the people in your space that are killing it, watch what they do. Just become a student. It's not that difficult. Sign up for stuff. I buy stuff all the time just to see how they do it.
Right.
And how they talk to me during, before, during, and after.
Yep.
All the time. And I always learn something that's, 1,000 times greater than, whatever I paid. That might be a push, but at least 100 times.
All right. Good stuff. Well, as always, appreciate your wisdom and insight. It's been great having you on the show. I know that you have an amazing free program that people can get. This was awesome. This is one of the things that came out of Authentic Kyle Wilson was the 52 lessons. Talk about this, and then we'll tell the folks how they get a copy of it for free.
Yeah. 52 lessons I learned from Jim Rohn and other legends I promoted. And it's just stories. Some of the greatest lessons I learned from Jim, from Brian Tracy, from Og Mandino, Paul J. Meyer, John Maxwell, Zig Ziglar, some really Dennis Waitley. Every person I mention, I start thinking of the stories, but they're lessons I learned from these guys. Powerful stuff. It's free. They go to kylewilson.com/52 lessons.
kylewilson.com/52 lessons. You'll definitely want to get that. And great having you on the program, my friend.
Robert, thanks so much.
Hey, if you want to join us for the Brian Tracy event, Success Mastery Academy, the 20th anniversary edition, Darren Hardy will be there, Tom Ziegler will be there, lots of amazing speakers, and of course, the master, Brian Tracy. All you need to do is go to BrianTracyRealEstateGuys.com and learn all about it. Hey, more, we'll come back. You're tuned to the Real Estate Guys radio program. I'm your host, Robert Helms.
Need help with your real estate investment portfolio? Check out the resources page at realestateguysradio.com.
Are you ready to profit in paradise? Hi, it's Robert Helms, and if you think real estate investing means tenants, toilets, and termites, think again. Located just a short plane ride from the U.S., a virtually untouched paradise awaits, the beautiful country of Belize. When you go to Belize with the Real Estate Guys, you'll spend 4 fabulous days discovering one of the most intriguing real estate markets I've ever seen. With its jungle rainforests, pristine beaches, and 81-degree turquoise water, Belize is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Plus, it's considered one of the top 7 tax havens in the world. Belize property is on the rise, and many experts think the best is yet to come. But don't just take my word for it. Come experience Belize firsthand at our upcoming investor field trip. When you join us, you'll discover the many reasons we love Belize, like tremendously undervalued beachfront land, super low taxes, ease of doing business, and so much more. Get the details at realestateguysradio.com. Just click on events. See paradise for yourself. Click events at realestateguysradio.com, and I'll see you in beautiful Belize.
Hi, this is Patrick from Paradigm Life. I've recently written an ebook called The Perpetual Wealth Strategy. The ebook discusses one of the best investments, real estate, combined with a financial vehicle used by the wealthy, many U.S. presidents, famous actors, athletes, and even Houdini himself. You can download the ebook for free in the resources section on the Real Estate Guys Radio homepage. Don't wait. Go download it now.
Hello, this is Dave Lendiger, co-founder of RE/MAX International. You're listening to The Real Estate Guys.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Guys radio program. Thanks for tuning into the show. Hey, if you want to know how to do bigger deals and make bigger money using other people's investment capital as well as some of your own, come on out to the Secrets of Successful Syndication. It happens the first weekend in June in beautiful Dallas, Texas. Oh my goodness. What a powerhouse Kyle Wilson is.
Yeah, you can't hang around successful people and not pick up a bunch of stuff. And, Kyle is an interesting breed of cat, that's for sure, right? But he's a connector. and he really understands. I mean, this is a guy that figured out internet marketing when the internet was really in its infancy.
Right.
I mean, it's still in a lot of ways in its infancy, but back then, I mean, it was like in its embryonic stage. It was way infancy. And he understood all along what it was about, right? It was about building a relationship with people electronically. And now, of course, he has created this amazing network that he's a part of, and he just is continually out there connecting people. But the other thing is, though, there's the live event component, and we're students of that, right? I mean, here we are, we podcast, and of course we have the radio show, and yet we are also big proponents of getting people in a room and coming to a live event, because it's not just about content. It's not just about context. That's all important, but it's about relationships, and it's about being in environments and being fully present or fully engaged. And I don't know how you really do that without being in the moment. I mean, you can listen to a song on the radio, and that's a level of experience. You can put down the lights in your room and kind of create an ambiance and listen to the music with focus, and that's an experience. Or you can go to a concert.
Right.
And that's a completely different experience, right? And there's a reason why people will go and pay hundreds of dollars and pay great expense to go to a concert to experience a song they've heard 1,000 times, and they could sing without even any thought. You've seen everybody singing right along. They know the content, but they're experiencing the content, and that's the secret.
Absolutely. Well, I could not be more excited about the 20th anniversary of Success Mastery Academy. You know, this is my all-time favorite program, having attended it more than half a dozen times live all those years ago. And for Brian Tracy to basically say, let's go do that again, super excited about having it happen. So you'll want to be at this event. It's 3 days. It's May 13th, 14th, and 15th. You can get all the details on our website at realestateguysradio.com under events. This is Kyle's event, and he's got lots of great speakers and lots of great folks. But the kind of people who come out to an event like this are the reason you want to go. Brian will be masterful from the stage. You'll get great nuggets of wisdom. Again, one of my all-time favorite personal development programs is the content. But as you said, Russ, it's the context. It's the people in the room. It's the vibrancy. It's that energy that'll happen by being around hundreds and hundreds of achievers.
Absolutely. You know, it's the energy. There's an energy that happens when human beings get together. And when you get like-minded human beings together, focused on a particular subject, a lot of the magic is what happens at breaks and when you're wandering around. And, you know, if you don't lock yourself in a corner or glue yourself to your cell phone, and you actually take advantage of the fact that you're in a room full of people that care enough about themselves to invest in their own personal development, you're going to find extraordinary people. We've made some of the best relationships we've had, some of the longest term best friend relationships that we've had through going to live events, both that we've put on and events that we've attended. And again, it's just a matter of being in a crowd. You know, if you're a country western person and you go to a rap concert, you know, you may not find people that are going to be your cup of tea. But if you're into personal development, if you care about putting good ideas in your mind, if you are interested in empowering yourself to go higher, to do more, the best thing in the world you could do is get around people who are creating good ideas and put yourself in a state of mind so they don't just bounce off your, you know, conscious mind while you're busy multitasking and doing 1,000 other things, but really put yourself in a situation where you're a sponge and it soaks all the way in and becomes part of you. And that's where the change or the transformation that we're all after in our lives comes from.
You know, one of the segments that Brian's going to do at this 3 days is called The 21 Characteristics of Self-Made Millionaires. Brian has spent years studying what self-made millionaires do to get in that position and has distilled it down. This is the most powerful hour of this event. It would be worth the price of admission and the ticket to get there just to hear Brian deliver that. If you're not a millionaire yet, then have a goal to become one, and you could not be in a more fruitful place to make that happen in this event. We're going to be there. We're going to have lots of folks be there, and even more importantly, we're having a really cool Real Estate Guys reception at the event. And all you have to do is, once you've registered for the event on our website at realestateguysradio.com under events, send a quick email to SMA, Success Mastery Academy, SMA at realestateguysradio.com, and we'll get you back the details for when our Real Estate Guys private reception will be. It'll be all of us listeners and all of us folks hanging out, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing weekend. You know, there's so many things you can learn by getting around other people that are sharing ideas, getting in a conducive environment. Real estate investors are mavericks in a lot of ways. They spend time in front of their computer screens. They go out and kick the dirt. They look at properties, and they're maybe with teammates, maybe their property manager, maybe their broker, but rarely do eagles flock together. And this is just going to be a great experience to get around not only real estate investors, but just high success oriented people.
Hey, you know, I want to address something because I handle the mail, the email that comes in. I review almost everything that every listener sends in. So every time I hit send receive, I get about 300 messages, which is awesome. And I love it and keep sending it. But, you know, there's some folks out there, they listen to the show and they're like, you guys are always, you know, promoting. And again, if you're into all this stuff, then, you know, you can check out right now. This is really for that skeptic out there. That person's like, oh, those real estate guys, you know, they're promoting again. All they want me to do is buy something. I'm just here to tell you there's so many other things we could do with our time than promote, you know, an event where we're all going to go. There's a reason we do this, right? Our motto here is education for effective action. We spend a lot of time, have spent a lot of time in our own lives and dealing with investors over the years who come to us. They're like, hey, I want to learn how to get to the next level. Many people, especially a lot of the engineers that we've worked with in Silicon Valley, think it's about the information. And it's really not about the information. It's about a transformation. And the transformation of being whoever you are and having whatever you have and going to become somebody new and having a lot more and being a lot better. That isn't a put down of where you are, but I'm guessing if you're listening to a show like this, it's probably because you want more and you think you're going to learn how to do it. And then when we tell you, you think it's about selling you something. It isn't. It's about, we're telling you the very things that we do and the things that we've seen successful people do in order to transform themselves in terms of the way they think and what they believe, so they begin to act differently and produce different results. So if you're skeptical, I'm just going to ask you to take a chance, make a bet, take a risk, come anyway. And at the end of 3 days, come to the reception and you can tell me right to my face, oh yeah, it was a waste of time and money. I'm guessing that's not going to happen, but try it. You know, what have you got to lose? The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to come meet some cool people. You're going to have a good time and you're going to reinforce your skepticism and you'll never waste another penny the rest of your life going some stupid rah-rah program where people are going to blow unicorns and sunshine up your skirt. But you know what might happen? You just might find that there's a reason why so many successful people are into these things. It may just transform you and you may just get that very breakthrough that you're looking for. And I hope that happens.
I could not recommend this event more strongly myself. This changed my life. This information put me on a path that has led me to things I couldn't even have imagined. I would just love to have you there. And I promise you this, whether you go or not, we'll have zero financial meaning to my future, Russ's future, any of that. Even Kyle Wilson's future, whether one more person comes or not, but it could absolutely change your life. So if you're thinking about it, get to the website at realestateguysradio.com. Check out the event under the events tab. It's called Success Mastery Academy, 3 days with Brian Tracy, Darren Hardy, Vic Johnson, and a whole bunch of other amazing people. And once you've signed up, send us a quick email, sma@realestateguysradio.com. Let us know you're coming, and we'll hang out and party a bit. Hey, big thanks to Kyle Wilson, one of the all-time good guys, for taking time to share his story and a lot of his anecdotes and, of course, about the event he's doing. Next week on The Real Estate Guys, it's Jim Rickards. He's got a brand new book out called The New Case for Gold. You'll learn all about it then. Until next week, go out and make some equity happen.
This episode of the Real Estate Guys radio show is brought to you by Paradigm Life. Powerful cash management strategies using life insurance. Learn more at beyourbank.com. Mid-South Home Buyers. Low-cost, turnkey cash flow properties in Memphis, Tennessee. Corporate Direct. Asset protection strategies for real estate investors. From attorney and Rich Dad advisor Garrett Sutton. Find these and other great companies under the Resources tab at realestateguysradio.com. To learn how you can expose your product or service to the Real Estate Guys audience, call 888-489-7723 extension 4. That's 888-489-7723 extension 4. Or use the feedback page at realestateguysradio.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week right here on the Real Estate Guys Radio Show.